Take a look at the following video. I've never seen anyone contradict themselves so many times and cope this hard. Check it out.
I especially think black people should be happy.
Why especially?
Because we black.
Should I be especially happy because I'm white?
No.
Why not?
Because you white.
I have no problem with black people being happy. What I do have a problem with is you saying black people can be happy because they're black, but white people can't be happy because they're white.
But now you're lying again because I didn't say that.
At the
Right?
very
Stop.
beginning, I said, can white people be happy because they're white? You said no.
That's not the very beginning. Why are you lying?
This
Just play
point,
it back.
I said, can white people be happy because they're white? You said no.
Yeah, I stand firm on that.
Okay, so you did say it. Now that I told you I'm
But-
recording,
but
you
you're
did say it. Now, as you can see in the comments, this guy named Super Solid was the person against whom I was debating. He decides to make a video as a clapback to me saying, quote, "Don't even worry about, I'ma get you some views." Which is interesting, especially considering he has over 21,000 followers and he gets hardly more views on his posts than I do at less than 300. Anyways, let's get into his video.
What brought you up?
I came up to ask what you are trying to discuss with the prompt.
Just being happy?
Oh, do you think everybody should be happy?
Slim, did you just all lives matter, my joy? Did you just all joy matters me?
He says yes. He says yes to this. Anyway.
What are you here for, bud? Hey, bud, what are you here for? Yeah, for sure. I especially think black people should be happy.
Why especially?
Because we black?
Should I be especially happy because I'm white?
Nope. No, you shouldn't, because that's white supremacy.
Okay, so black people can be happy because they're black. That's perfectly acceptable. Even I'm fine with that. But as soon as white people say they want to be happy because they're white, it's white supremacy. Make it make sense.
Are you right now asking me to justify my exclusive joy? He's gonna say no, he's not, but he is. He's literally saying, why do you get to do it and why can't I do it?
That's the only correct representation of my argument that he makes here. Yes. Why can you do something that I cannot do? And you know what's crazy is that they assert that there are things in this country that white people can do that black people cannot do. So if it's a problem for there to be things that a white person can do that a black person can't do, why is it not a problem for there to be things that a black person can do that a white person cannot do? Explain that to me, Super Solid.
Why can't I say, hey, joy? Why do you get to say black joy? Hey, bud, you spoiled brat. Stop crying.
No, I'm asking you to justify why you're specifically focusing on black people.
Exactly. You asking me to justify my exclusive joy.
Do you think that black people are the most oppressed people on earth? They certainly aren't. I would say children, mothers. There are plenty of other people groups who are vastly more oppressed. I don't remember what he has to say, but let's just see.
Do black people need to be the most oppressed people on earth for it to be paramount to express black joy in particular?
The reason I asked him this is if this comes down to like a game of the oppression Olympics, then black people actually would have less reason to be happy than what actually would be the most oppressed group of people in society. So I was then going to say, oh, well, this group is more oppressed than black people, so why don't you focus especially on their joy rather than that of black people? That's what I was trying to do.
This white man now wants me to prove to him that it's okay to center black joy. Why?
No. This white man wants him to prove why it's okay to center black joy to the exclusion of the joy of other races. That's an important distinction.
But what we haven't talked about is how that creates in groups and out groups. Now, an in group is any group that you're a part of. If you're a dad, then your in group is dads. If you're a disco dancer, then your in group is disco dancers. An out group is any group that you're not a part of. But the derogation happens when you start to see out groups as less than, not deserving of empathy.
Isn't this the exact thing that he's arguing against? He's saying that because you don't belong to an out group, you have a tendency to belittle that group because you're not a part of it. But this is exactly what he's doing. He doesn't belong to the group that includes white people, so he's belittling white joy because he's not a part of that group. Interesting.
Now, if you see yourself as a member of a group that is better, and you see out group members as being not as good, and they have been marked with some sort of social mud, then if you fancy yourself a benevolent person, it may take it upon yourself to go into a live stream full of black people enjoying themselves and finger wag, police them, maybe even try to defame them. Or
at no point in this entire interaction did I insinuate that I thought I was better than him, or that he was lesser than me, or that he was dirty, or that he was other, you know. I could post the entire interaction. The reason I posted the original clip was to call him out for lying and saying that I lied about something that he said. And then how he tried to cope to save face. None of this is even really about the argument from the place of black joy is better than white joy or vice versa. And I think he's missing that.
be derogatory towards them. Make no mistake.
Also, at no point was I derogatory towards him or the other guy that was in there. No time. Not one derogatory statement. And he won't fail to provide evidence that I was derogatory in any manner.
Duncan Chud had it in his mind that white people are under attack somehow.
I also never said that. Nope. I want equality of joy. That's what I want. Solid. That's what I want. Equal right to express joy. Because you have a problem with there being things in this country that a white man can do that a black man can't. Well, I have a problem with this.
We don't have to justify our happiness to any of you, and you're all going to have to get used to that.
I'm not asking him to justify his happiness. What I'm asking him to do is explain to me why it's more justified for black people to be happy because they are black than it is for white people to be happy because they are white. And something else that's really interesting is that this wasn't the end of the interaction. There was more where I said something along the lines of, at the very beginning of this interaction, you stated that it's not okay for white people to be happy because they're white. And he's like, oh, why are you lying? I never said that, which you can see in the clip. And then I told him that I was recording, and suddenly it's, oh, I stand firmly behind that. Why didn't you address that, Super Solid? Come on. I think your half-hearted followers deserve the truth. So if you want to respond to this, go ahead. The only response that I'm going to give you to any further response from you is just to post the full interaction. That's all I'm going to do. I am not putting any more effort into this because you simply are not worth it.